Welcome to Parent2Parent Solutions, where there are no bad children and no bad parents, only the misinformed and misunderstood. This is part 4 of the Why Children Rebel Prison Proof Your Kids series. We are not raising children, we are rearing adults, and that's a big difference. I'm your host, Tiant, Professor Mitch Mitchell, America's greatest prison dad, or so I like to think. Now, one day, several years ago, I was assigned to work the kitchen detail, and I had an eye-opening experience. You'll see exactly what I mean. Now, imagine you're in an industrial kitchen of a prison of over 2,000 prisoners and 500 or so staff members. It's hot. You smell like wet beans and hard potatoes. You've worked hours and hours, and you're ready for the clock to hit the right number so you can slide. When your coworker comes up, yo, he calls out to you excited. What? What's up? You say, still hot, smelly, and tired. They left the closet open. Look. He turns the handle and opens the closet. Then he starts filling his pockets. Yo, he says excited. Here, take these. What? Wait, what is it? You ask. Gloves. Gloves? What? But I don't need no gloves, you say. Man, just take them. But why? He stops, and he looks at you, and with all seriousness, he says, because we're convicts. And that's just what we do. We stick it to them every chance we get. Now, I looked at him, but I have no use for the gloves, bro. Aw, man, get out of here. You ain't no convict. I walked away extremely confused. See, back then, I didn't understand why taking food service gloves was so important. I thought he was nuts. Why would I do that? Not why would I take something from the kitchen, because that happened all the time. I'm talking about onions, peppers, flour, etc. Everything to make the slop that they serve more edible. That was the hustle for many people. At least that had a purpose, a rhyme, a reason. Not a good one, but one nonetheless. But food service gloves? They weren't even the latex kind. They had like tiny holes in them. I had no use for them, but yet was expected to take them simply because they left the door unlocked and I was a convict, and that's just what convicts do. Why Children Rebel 4 Shifts in Identities. If you've been following along with the previous 3 episodes of the series, you know that your child's behavior is the tool they use to get them across the ocean of culture to Matter Mountain on Satiation Island, the island that satisfies your every need. Your child's behaviors are attempts or methods that they've learned and or devised to matter to that which matters to them. You got to remember this. They act to matter. So now to matter means to be or to feel heard, seen, acknowledged, loved, valued, and respected. Now, all humans are behaving for the same reason. To get to Matter Mountain, to satisfy our every need in order to be and feel heard, seen, acknowledged, valued, loved, and respected. You got that? Now, when we ask, why do children rebel? Well, the short answer is to matter. To feel heard, seen, acknowledged, valued, loved, and respected. Now, it's important to understand that children seek to matter to that which matters to them. That's important. To prison-proof your kids and to quell the rebellion, know that you must alter your view of the relationship. You and I must begin to seriously consider what matters most to our children first. Why is that important? Because it's what matters to them they seek to be heard, seen, acknowledged, valued, and loved and respected by. See? They seek to be respected and loved by that which matters most to them. Not you, the parent, the authority, the boss, the mom, or the dad, or the teacher. As a matter of fact, those are just labels or identities for public use. See, privately, each of us is driven by what we believe is real to us. Not what's just real to you, the parent, the teacher, or the guardian, but what is real to them, the child. That's where we must start to change the behavior and save our children. Now you're probably wondering how this relates to ships and identities. Well, let's find out. So you've seen in the past episodes that the ship is on the ocean trying to get to Matter Mountain on Satiation Island. We gave the ship a name. We named it Identity. Now, this is the good part. What is your child's most pressing need? It's to matter to that which matters to them. In other words, to get to Matter Mountain to satisfy their every need. But the problem is getting across the vast ocean of culture. Better yet, the cultural body of water. Imagine that it was a lake and not an ocean. What type of vessel would they need to get across? You could use a canoe or kayak. You could use something like even a small ferry maybe. What if it's a river? If it's a river, you can maybe a barge, another maybe bigger ferry. Now, but when it's an ocean, what type of vessel would your child need to construct to safely navigate that body of water to get to Matter Mountain and Satiation Island? See? So now, all right, look, ask yourself, why does your child need a vessel at all? Why don't they just jump in the water and swim across the body of water? Well, obviously, it's for the obvious reasons of drowning, being attacked by wild creatures, et cetera, et cetera. This is why this is important. The same concept applies to life. Each child is born into a different environment, a different culture, with very different experiences. Children grow up in many different oceans, many different bodies of water, each with their own dangers, their own rules, ways, and customs. Think about it. That means that what it takes and what it requires to matter to those that matter to children will be different for each child in each culture. All children are trying to get to the same Matter Mountain on the same Satiation Island, but each has to come across a different ocean or a different body of water to get there. Different experiences, same destination, just different routes and different ships to get there. Now, the ships they create depend on which body of water they're born in. Likewise, the identity of our children, the identity our children create depend on the culture and the environment they experience and are exposed to in a meaningful way. In other words, children become who they think they need to be in order to feel and be heard, seen, acknowledged, valued, loved, and respected by those that matter to them most. Hear me out. This isn't about your feelings, your ego, your pride, who you and I think we are as parents. Nope. What they think they are or need to be in relation to what they think we are and who they think we are as parents. Now, remember the story about the veterinarian and the horse? It's what the horse thinks. You have to start there. We have to get this as parents, teachers, and guardians. It's not about what we think or how we see reality when it comes to our children's behavior. It begins with what they think first. We start from there and work our way forward. Why is that, Professor Mitch? Because, listen, when we start from where they are, from what they think first, they feel heard, seen, acknowledged, valued, loved, and most importantly, respected. See, now you can get somewhere. Now we can relate. Remember, you begin to matter to them when they feel that they begin to matter to you. Share that with somebody. Go ahead, tweet that or something. Put that on Instagram or something. In other words, you begin to feel heard, seen, acknowledged, valued, loved, and respected when they feel loved, when they feel heard, seen, acknowledged, valued, loved, and respected. Now that's important. So what does their environment and their everyday experiences teach them they have to do to matter to those that matter to them most? Now, I learned early on that being disruptive in class got me heard and seen and acknowledged. Now, all the things that I didn't feel at home with a single parent struggling with addiction. The fact is, I got some of my needs met at school through disruptive behavior. In other words, the identity bad kid or problem child resulted in more opportunities to be heard, seen, and acknowledged, which translated to my little mind my closest experiences of being valued, loved, and respected. You see how that works together? We're not talking about excuses here. Of course I didn't consciously know all that back then. What I knew was what worked to make me feel loved and what didn't and wasn't working. Rules and laws have no chance against human nature at its core. Rebellious behavior is first behavior that is then deemed rebellious. Likewise, criminal behavior or deviant behavior is first behavior that is then labeled criminal and deviant. The behavior itself is rooted in what works to get us to Matter Mountain to satisfy our needs and what doesn't. If the laws of the land impede the laws of human nature, rebellion is the result. That doesn't necessarily mean change the laws of the land or the laws of the household. It means understand how they can work with the laws of human nature and not against it. Get this. Identities are shaped by experiences. We learn who we are to others by the way they treat us. In other words, children come to know the identity you want them to be through the experiences with you, the parent, the teacher, and the guardian, through their overall environment. Kids aren't stupid. They can see who matters the most in the culture, in the environment, in their experiences. They know who they are expected to be and who they need to be to matter. Who cares what you're saying to them? If that identity aligns to who they want to be, they have no need to rebel. On the other hand, if who they are expected to be in order to matter does not align with who they want to be or how they want to matter, well, rebellion is the result. There is a clash of identities. Now listen, children don't rebel against parents' rules or laws. They're rebelling against identities they feel compelled to fit. They rebel against the ships on which they feel forced to sail. Why is that, Professor Mitch? Because if your child feels forced to be something, they simultaneously feel that who they really are is unheard, seen, unacknowledged, and therefore unvalued, unloved, and disrespected. Because who and what they are is already unheard, unseen, unacknowledged, and therefore disrespected. Now listen, children are little humans.
You have 1 minute left.
As humans subjected to the law of reciprocity, what do humans do or feel compelled to do? Return favors. When they feel disrespected, unheard, unacknowledged, they disrespect, stop hearing, and stop acknowledging. It's that simple for now. There's much more as we continue this concept on Why Children Rebel, Prison Proof Your Kids series. Stay tuned to learn how ships of identity form with the force of actuation cycle and how relationship really is relate on ships. It's Professor Mitch. Until next time, remember, there are no bad children and no bad parents, only the misinformed and misunderstood. Be encouraged.